everybody. Dan Illman here with the DRF race of the day for Monday, July the 15th. It's race number 6 at Assiniboia Downs. Let's throw up the field for the $50,000 Jack Hardy Stakes. These are for 3-year-old fillies going 7.5 furlongs. That's a 2-turn race at Assiniboia Downs. Lots going on at the Downs. The last 5 races on the program, part of the 20-cent ASD Pick 5, $310,000 right now is the carryover pool going into Monday's program. Of course, you've got the popular $1 Pick 4, the final 4 races on the card. The Jack Hardy Stakes, 7.5 furlongs. The distance could be key. We throw up the Timeform US Pace Projector, and the 2 She's My Niece not only has a pace advantage, stretching out from a couple of sprint races going 1 turn, she's also in very sharp form, and she has a favorable Timeform US scenario. Note the blue bar, a situation that favors pace setters. She's My Niece beat 4 of these last time out, having to go fast on the lead sprinting, but can she stay the 7.5? With this pace scenario, it's quite possible she will. We'll start things off with the number 1, Dynamic Strike, a horse in very good form. She scored last time out in the race we're going to watch on July the 2nd. This is a non-winners of 2 life allowance. She did beat 3 of these horses, however, after finishing 3rd to She's My Niece in the Chantilly. She looked pretty good winning, beating Midnight Lady, just holding on at the wire as the favorite. She earned a career best 62 Beyer speed figure over a track that was rated good. Now that race was at 7 furlongs. Dynamic Strike drew well for this 2-turn affair and has enough tactical speed where she can pull a decent trip, stalking the pace behind the leaders. I'm really not too worried about the distance or the 7.5 for Dynamic Strike. Inform horse stepping back up into the stakes ranks. She's My Niece is the key to this race. 2-1, second choice on the morning line. Beat 4 of these, including Dynamic Strike in the Chantilly. We're going to take a look at that race right now. Now, this race is at 6 furlongs. It's her 2nd consecutive victory, and she went right to the front, and she carved out legitimate fractions, especially that second quarter. 23 flat. She's My Niece streaks on home to win. Dynamic Strike, of course, came back to win her very next start. Now she'll have to stretch her speed 7.5, and that could be a little bit of a question mark. There's a lot of speed in her pedigree, at least close up. Going way back, you've got horses like Silver Bullet Day, who is a champion in the United States and certainly could go long. And it's not like we're asking She's My Niece to go a mile and a 16th. She just has to stay 7.5 furlongs. And she actually ran a decent second at Delmar, going a 2-turn mile earlier in her career. She's My Niece, the one to catch and perhaps the one to beat. The number 3 is Au Pair. This one finished 7th last time out in a non-winners of 2 life allowance. Really just couldn't see the excuse that day. First start out of the maiden ranks. That race was at 5.5 furlongs. She was outrun early through some fast tractions and could not make up the late ground. She's going to have to do a lot better as she steps up in class and will need a strong Beyer boost. The 4 is Hyper Holiday, who finished 3rd last time out in a maiden special weight. We're going to take a look at that race. Hyper Holiday gets wired in this race, but the horse on the lead making the pace is 29-1 and is not coming back to this field. Hyper Holiday is able to clunk up for 3rd past some tired horses in the stretch. Looked like she was running a little bit as well, but only earned a 22 Beyer speed figure. She's a maiden facing winners, stretching out around 2 turns, and again, her Beyers are light. She's going to be a big price, and deservedly so. Happy Hour is the number 5. She was 7th in the Chantilly. Then she scored a non-winners of 2 life in the race we'll show you. That was on July the 2nd. She was favored this day, dropping out of a couple of stakes efforts, and she ran pretty well, getting a nice trip off of a pretty solid pace and then rallying to win. 47 Beyer for Happy Hour, another filly that needs a little bit of improvement. She is very lightly raced, however, so I wouldn't be surprised if she does take a step forward. She's a filly I would consider perhaps on the bottom of single race exotic wagers. Midnight Lady is the number 6. We saw her finish 2nd to Dynamic Strike last time out after finishing 4th behind She's My Niece in the Chantilly. She just missed in that 7 furlong affair, and the distance seems to be no problem for Midnight Lady, a filly that's only 1 for 12 in her career, however. Lots of minor awards for her, but I think she found out what she wanted to do last time out, and that's go a 2-turn 7 or a 2-turn 7.5 furlongs at the Downs. It was a good effort for Midnight Lady, who seems to be improving. Zorina, the number 7, is your 8-5 morning line favorite, and Zorina finished 2nd in the Chantilly last time out behind She's My Niece, who just speed popped them on the front end. She ran very well to be 2nd. It snapped a mini 2-race win streak, and this filly has always shown some ability since the beginning of her career down in the United States. A debut winner at Arapahoe Park, stakes placed to Turf Paradise, and then getting the 2 wins at the Downs sprinting earlier this meet. Again, second last time out in the Chantilly. I think 7.5 is a little bit of a question mark here. She is by Entice. I think that's strong for her to be able to get the distance, but she is going to have to prove it. I think she's going to settle off the pace and maybe hope it's fast enough to adequately prepare her for the stretch drive. Dirty Flirt's the number 8, fourth in her Downs debut. That was her first start off of the claim, her first start off of a short layoff. And I like that she showed a little bit of speed in that race, but she couldn't go with Dynamic Strike when push came to shove. She's another lightly raced filly with a lot of upside potential, but another filly that probably needs to improve just a bit. Under Budget didn't break very well in that allowance race won by Dynamic Strike, and maybe that hurt her chances. She was able to run on for third, and that's sort of been the story for Under Budget. At the Downs, at least in her last 2 races, both at 7 furlongs, where she's been able to run on late. Now, the time form pace scenario doesn't exactly set things up well for Under Budget, a filly that needs a little bit of pace, it appears, to get her best in the stretch. Before we take a look at my top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time in the Jack Hardy. I think the 2 favorites are very logical. I will go for a little bit of a price, however, with the 1 Dynamic Strike, who got it done at 7 last time out. I think he'll be comfortable at 7.5 and can work out a nice pace-tracking, ground-saving trip. Good addition of the Jack Hardy. Nice card at the Downs on Monday. Good luck.